That's it.
Okay, we are live. We are live today. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. I haven't gotten to go live in a while, and I'm really excited for everyone to tune in. We have really fun live today. We are talking to Maria Halasz, the founder of évolis Professional, and this is why. If you're noticing more hair loss in your clients right now, you are not alone. We polled some BTC readers and found that 73% of stylists are noticing more clients experiencing thinning hair or hair loss since March 2020, which, if you recall, was the start of a massive change in how our world was operating. So there are a lot of reasons that your clients could be experiencing hair loss, and it can be really tough for them to bring it up to you and for you to bring it up to them. It's a touchy subject that your clients might feel upset about, but at the same time, it's not abnormal. It's super normal to experience hair loss or thinning hair. You don't necessarily have to be experiencing hair loss to have a benefit from using anti-aging or anti-hair loss hair products. So that's why I'm so excited to talk to Maria. She's here to tell us today all about why your clients are losing their hair, how you can talk to them about it, how you can help them immediately, and how it's so important that you as the professional are the one having these conversations with them to normalize that conversation. So welcome, Maria. I'm so excited to have you. Why don't you fill everyone in quickly on a little bit about your story before we kick this off?
Hi, Lauren. I'm so excited to be here and talk to you. Thank you very much for having me. My background is actually medicine and science, and I've been running a biotechnology company for 12 years now. And so I really love science. I love innovation, and that's really my biggest passion. And so, unfortunately, as we age, we kind of experience different types of side effects of aging. And I've been experiencing hair loss for a long time. And so, how I found the whole process is really quite interesting. And this is how I found évolis, really.
Excellent. So first of all, really quickly, let me make sure everyone watching, because we have a ton of comments flooding in from everyone all over the place, from Scotland, New York, Montreal, Belgium, Arkansas, California. So thank you everyone for joining. And I'm so glad to see your comments, because if you comment and ask questions that Maria can answer, you can win the Ultimate Hair Growth Bundle from évolis. It's a $316 value prize. So keep your comments coming and make sure to ask your questions. We will get them out to Maria. So let's get started, Maria. This you've experienced hair loss yourself, and that's what led you to start this company. What was that process like in terms of how your hairdresser brought it up to you, or how you talked about it with your hairdresser?
So look, I've been experiencing hair aging generally. I was, normally I had quite thin, fine hair. And as I was getting a bit older, I thought, my ponytail got thinner. I kept cutting my hair shorter and shorter, and my parting was wider. And I had a long-standing hairstylist who was cutting my hair, and he raised a couple of little subtle hints to me, like, what do you think about your hair? Should we cut it differently? And then at some point I fessed up to him and I said to him, look, I'm really worried. I'm losing so much hair. And he said, I'm so glad you raised it. I was so uncomfortable talking to you about this, but I could see over the last 3 or 4 years that your hair has been thinning out. So look, it's an uncomfortable conversation for a stylist initially, especially if you're not that close to your client. But I think it's an important conversation, because by the time you see visible signs of hair loss, customers normally lose 30 to 40% of their hair, and it's really hard to turn back that ship. So if you're a stylist, as soon as you see your client hair changes, because everybody's hair changes, then it's really important to, in some shape and form, raise the question. And, the easiest way to talk about this, everybody ages, our bones, our skin, our body ages, and our hair ages too. And nobody can opt out of this. So it's really easy to bring that up first as a conversation topic.
That's a great point. Like, no one can opt out of this, especially because the causes of hair loss or hair aging can be, there's so many different factors that could go into it. What are some of the reasons a client may be experiencing that? What are some things that can contribute to that?
So naturally, obviously, we all age, and over time you see that, but that's a very slow process. Of course, we've got some specific factors that will cause hair loss. We all know that stress is a factor, and we've all been experiencing it throughout this pandemic. And some people obviously suffer from it more than others, but stress has a very direct relationship to hair loss. When you're stressed in a prolonged period, a hormone called cortisol gets expressed in your body, and cortisol is a direct regulator of the hair cycle. So you will end up with eventual hair loss as a result of prolonged cortisol exposure in the body. So of course, stress is a very, very important and quite well-researched factor. Then, of course, you look at medications or illness. And what you see then is that you might have an acute illness, and then 2 or 3 months later, you see this shedding of hair. And of course, it takes that long for the hair to get into that rest phase. I think almost all stylists would have seen postpartum hair loss, where their client comes in after having a baby, and they had all this beautiful hair before, and suddenly they started shedding, and they start worrying about it. But actually, postpartum hair loss is quite a normal process. And what normally happens is, before you give birth, you get all this estrogen, all this hormone, you get really a lot of luscious hair. And then when you give birth, your estrogen levels basically go back to normal, and you shed whatever new hair you grew. Having said that, a lot of young mothers, just don't recover very easily. And it's very important that you have products that actually extend the growth phase and really look after your hair follicles so you can recover to your previous state. And then, of course, there's so many other reasons why you can lose hair or shed or thin. And it's really difficult also to pinpoint why. One of the other things that people often say is diet, but actually most of us have sufficiently good diet to support hair. But some people do suffer from zinc or biotin deficiencies. And one more factor is D3, vitamin D3. Now, almost 40% of the population in the United States suffers from some form of vitamin D deficiency, and that is, of course, associated with hair thinning as well. So there's many, many reasons, and it's quite difficult to know what the actual cause of hair loss.
In the comments, people saying, I found vitamin D helpful, things like that. So thank you, everyone, for commenting right now. That's great. I'm loving this conversation. Maria, can you tell us, so how can a hairstylist bring this up with their client? What are the things that they're looking for, and what are the words they're using so as not to sound scary or freak anyone out, but to sound positive and, I have a great solution for you? What do you recommend?
Look, whatever the reason of the hair loss, stylists know, because stylists are trained in recognizing it. They know that the client's parting is widening, the client's scalp is showing more, the client's ponytail is thinner. They have to cut differently so that there is the same kind of volume. So stylists are really attuned to their customers, their clients' hair. How to bring up that conversation is a completely different matter. And of course, in the past, particularly when I started to lose my hair, that was a big taboo to discuss that. In fact, I've got a biological sciences background, but I thought I'm the only one who's got hair loss issue, and only middle-aged bald men suffer from hair loss otherwise. So
that's a great point. You're thinking like, this can't happen to me. Like, you're right. You're always, especially because you're seeing hair loss stuff that's targeted to middle-aged balding men. It's totally true.
I felt I was the only one, so I thought I felt quite ashamed. And I would sit in a boardroom, and I would be so conscious of my hair, and I'm thinking everybody's looking at me because of my hair. But my stylist I was very close to, and he was really good at really subtly bringing up the topic around different styles. He was talking to me about the fact that a lot of his class customers are getting older, they would get their hair differently. And that really terrified me, actually. So don't use the word old.
That's a
Please.
great tip. Everyone should remember that.
Well, one thing that you shouldn't use bad, one thing that I think we need to point out, and there should be no taboo associated with that, is simply we all get older if we're lucky. The alternative is not pretty. And as we get older, our bodies change and our hair follicles change as well. And that doesn't have to be a shameful. This is a normal process. And that's the first thing that I think we can talk about. And, this is why when I looked at hair loss and when we looked at the biology of hair loss, it was really important for us that we understood how hair loss occurs, no matter what the reason is. And it really occurs because the hair cycle gets disrupted, the hair growth cycle, which all of you stylists know a lot about. I know they're completely attuned with this topic, but that hair growth cycle gets disrupted by stress, diet, whatever. Mm-hmm. And what can you do about it? So we really need to look at solutions that addresses that hair cycle, that extends the growth phase of the hair and then reduces that rest period that the hair is not growing. And that's what we really need to look at when we want to prevent hair loss or actually recover. And this is what we looked at when we looked at the solution, because obviously the problem is the thinning, aging, brittle, and of course, in a worst case scenario, hair loss. But then the solution is really to address the hair cycle, prevent that hair aging, and turn the clock back, as we turn the clock back with various skincare products on our skin.
I like that you said like the prevention, because I was going through the évolis Instagram and I saw something about how using language like this product is like Botox for your hair is very accessible to a client. Like that's easy to understand versus getting into anagen or telogen or anything with the client where they're going to be like, what are you talking about? So what is like some more accessible language, I guess, or things that you can listen for your client saying that will trigger you to say, oh, she might benefit from this product?
I think, most clients over 20 would have experienced some kind of hair issues. I mean, we all have hair challenges from a young age. And so I think you need to customize and personalize it to your client. So if your client has brittle, fine hair, then you can talk about the condition. You can talk about the fact that rejuvenating the hair. I mean, by the time we reach around 25, our natural little curls, those curly girls, they go away and they get straightened out. They get, stressed and tired. And, we can talk about, get your youthful curls back, get rejuvenating the hair, really, moisturizing, really tightening those curls, making them look like you're 8. I mean, those are the rejuvenation is the language that is not threatening to clients. They're not going to suddenly think, oh gosh, I'm getting old. I mean, everybody wants to be rejuvenated in some shape and form.
Absolutely.
I mean, Botox for the hair is something that we just we just saw these results when we've done the clinical studies, and we've done a very large study in Dallas in Texas, and we saw this, and all these comments came up about Botox for the hair. So we've kind of used it since. I don't know whether we could or not, but it certainly resonated with our audience at the time.
Absolutely. That kind of speaks to the fact that you were saying earlier, not everyone experiences hair loss, but everyone does want to look better. And that's what part of some of the range that évolis has can address that specifically, correct?
Exactly. I mean, the hair aging process is, as I mentioned before, is very natural. It comes down to hair cycle. And so all our products are all about extending that growth phase. How do we do it? And, your stylist audience would be very well aware that, there are so many reasons why the hair cycle accelerates and hair falls out. But one of the key regulators of that growth cycle is a protein called FGF5. And, you can read over and over in publications in technical journals how FGF5 makes your hair fall out. So all our products fundamentally slow or inhibit this FGF5 protein. As a result, we slow down the whole cycle, and you find a lot more hair growing in that growth phase at any one time. So even if you have completely normal hair, you would have a certain number of hairs that are in rest period. What you can do with our products is bring them out. So your hair will thicken up, your hairline will move back to its youthful stage. So all those things are just going to add to your youthful appearance, really. And of course, because you stop that protein from making the hair fall out, you also help hair loss quite clearly.
What about people that are maybe wary of, chemicals? There's clients that are not interested in sulfates or anything like that. How does évolis help with that type of client? Is it useful for a client like that?
So we do root to tip care. And root to tip care means that it's not just enough to grow the hair out, but you have to look after it when it grows out. And if you formulate sulfates, phosphates, silicone into the shampoos, conditioners, you will cause damage because you strip the natural oils, or you seal the hair and it doesn't let in all the natural conditioners. So all our products have been formulated without sulfates, phosphates, silicone, and of course we don't put phthalates in because phthalates interfere with hormonal balance. So all our products are very clean. I mean, for us, obviously, research is very, very important. So anything that we do needs to be very safe. And this is why all our products, all our shampoos and conditioners are basically color safe, keratin safe, extension safe. You can use them, very, very safely every day, and it's not going to strip your hair of natural oils.
Here's a great question from Becky. What about thin hair in the early 20s? I have a brother and sister clients that had thick hair in their teens, and now both have all over thin hair. Is it just hereditary?
So genetically, we're all different, and some of us get affected hair aging differently and much more so than others. And if you're genetically predisposed to thinner hair, and I'm one of those, by the way. So, my mom thinned out by the time of my age, you could really see her scalp. And, it was scalp showing up and, very white parting. So, the reason that I don't have really white parting, and you can have a look at my parting, is pretty tight and my hairline, is because I'm using our products, évolis. And, it's really one of those things that you, if you're genetically predisposed, you really need to start the preventative process early on. And the preventative process is really to slow down that hair loss, slow down that hair cycle, make sure that your more hair grows at any one time. And the way to do that is inhibit the FGF5 protein by using something like our products. And I mean, you see our products, évolis. Essentially, what you want to do is make sure that you also not cause any harm in the process. So we use natural botanical extracts to inhibit FGF5. We use 3 active ingredients: Sanguisoba officinalis, Vertia kerata, and Rosa multiflora. So these are beautiful botanicals that you can actually put on your scalp, and you're not going to get any damage to it. In addition, we of course have shampoos and conditioners that are very hair safe. So then, one of the other things that happens with hair aging is that your hair becomes more brittle and breaks, because it's not a good quality hair. So once you use évolis, you get better quality hair. You can do more treatment, more straightening, more blow drying, and your hair will be stronger and withstand the pressure much better. You need to do all those things to make sure that you look after your hair and you keep it.
Because you have the products there, and a couple people are asking, what's part of the regimen, or how long does it take to see results? Can you show us?
Oh, sure. So the most important, this is our hero product, is the activator. The activator is, you use it twice a day, morning and evening. I have it next to my toothbrush, and this is what I do. And you can use it on wet or dry, it doesn't matter. You're going to see that it's not going to affect my hairstyle. You just put it on your scalp. It's got a little pipette. It works really well because when you put it back, it redoses itself. It's fragrance and residue free. All I do is, once I put a few drops, I just basically rub it in. Now, I'll also show you how little you need. You basically put 1 drop, and 1 drop covers my entire hand. So you need very little.
Wow.
You do this twice a day, morning and evening. And as you can see, it took me 5 seconds to do it. I know, as I said, do it when I brush my teeth. And that's all you need to do. It's done. Then we've got shampoos and conditioners. So the shampoo is sulfate, phosphate, silicone-free, no phthalates in it. And we've got a conditioner which has beautiful ingredients. It's like baobab, baobab is nature's moisture miracle. We've got you find baobab in a lot of the skincare products that are highly moisturizers. Ylang ylang oil, again, nourishing for your hair. We've got lavender oil. It's great for the scalp. We've got rosemary oil, fantastic antiseptic for your scalp again. So we do that complete care for the hair that
and
you
it's
would
like
get.
Luxurious too. It's not just like, it doesn't have a clinical feel. It's luxurious and self-care really for yourself as well.
Totally. And, that's what I do in the morning. I do a bit more massage, and I always call myself self-caring time because it's nice to have a little massage.
How long, once you start using the activator regularly, does it take to see results?
Look, it does take about 4 months for full results. But we've done a clinical study, and in that study, after 30 days, our clients came back and experienced benefits. One of the first things that people will see is a reduced shedding, a reduced hair loss. And, you see less hair in your hairbrush, less hair on a pillow, or even you notice that your shower is not clogged up anymore. So you start seeing that from 30 days onwards. But really, our clinical studies have been done on 4 months or 120 days period. I think around the day 60 to 90, you will start seeing that your hairline improves. And of course, the first sign of aging is generally a hairline moving back. So that's actually that's a really inspiring part of the whole process, really.
I would love to see some of the before and afters because they're pretty powerful. Thanks, Heather, for putting those up for us. Can you talk us through these?
So this is Joythi, one of our clients who came to us with postpartum hair loss. And, she, by that stage, has given birth maybe a year before, and her hair just wouldn't grow back. Unlike most other people, she wasn't recovering naturally. So she came to us and started using our reverse 3-step system, which is the activator that I've shown you, the shampoo conditioner. And you can see the result after 120 days. And again, she was one of those young women who just wouldn't respond to anything else.
Wow.
Okay, this is Martin. Martin is a husband of one of our managers, actually, and he said he has no hair loss problem whatsoever, but happy to participate. And then he saw his first picture, and then he was terrified.
Wow, that's so interesting because you're right. No one really sees the top of your head. I mean, personally, I never look at the very top of my head. That's so funny. Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And Jane, she came to us with persistent long-term hair thinning. Her hair was just really aging and was getting to a point where she just didn't know what to do with it. And again, 120 days. And I have to say that all our clients have continued using their products, and the hair gets better as you use the product longer and longer. So it again, Jane here, and she has perfectly fine hair. She just noticed a little bit more hair in her hairbrush, as the years went by. And what you have to notice here also is that this is in 4 months. So not only that her hair grew quite fast, but you can see that the bottom of the hair thickened out. So, she didn't lose the normal amount of hair. All the hairs that were growing, they kept growing. They didn't fall out like before. So the bottom became quite strong and healthy. And this is really important because that gives you options. Again, this is Mike, and Mike had an issue around early thinning. And his hairline, as you can see, has started to come back after 4 months significantly. He's very happy. He was one of the participants in our clinical study. and he basically said he's not traveling with. He's a traveling photographer, and he's traveling with his évolis all the time. If he needs to take one thing, it's going to be the évolis.
Wow.
Again, this is a very typical case. This is this client used the Promote three-step system, and Promote has extra conditioners with baobab, and it really not only improves your hair loss and hair thinning, but it actually gives you a volume, a better volume, and a better condition. As you can see, it's a different, like all the flaky, broken ends got repaired, and you can see how the hair again thickened up at the bottom. This is what happens over time because your hair doesn't fall out. You've got a natural shedding which actually stops, and your hair thickens up. Again, this is one of our male customers, and you can see that his hair thickened up overall, and he didn't suffer, very severe male pattern baldness. He was in a milder case, and he still had a lot of hair growing, and that is really important with our products. Our products are not going to grow hair when your hair follicle is dead. This works best when you still have quite a bit of hair, and maybe you're just transitioning into that miniaturization where your hair follicles are producing smaller and smaller hairs, and we've been able to turn that process around here with this client.
So there was a question about alopecia, and this is not something that will address that, correct?
So alopecia is the term that is used for any kind of hair loss. So yes, our products, some of the examples you've seen there, Lauren, actually are for androgenic alopecia. The last before and after was a mild case of androgenic alopecia. Alopecia is a term for hair loss generally. So yes, our products do work for certain.
It does.
However, I have to say, and perhaps when people say alopecia, they mean a very rare form of autoimmune disease called alopecia areata, and where you see this patchy, balding, areas on the scalp, and we don't claim any efficacy for that. So alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease. You need to seek medical help for that.
Is this a product that if you stop using it, there will be negative consequences? Because that's sometimes a situation that happens with hair regrowth products. So
look, when you stop using our products, what happens is that over time, and it's anywhere between 3 to 6 months, your hair will return to its original state. So yes, you will experience hair loss, but it's not going to be anything other than what you would have had anyway.
What you already have had, correct?
If you don't use the product, so it's not going to start shedding or any of that. It's a very gradual process, and what you will just see is that over time your hair returns to what it was before. I mean, the whole point of our product is an anti-aging product. So you really, I'm very, very passionate about longevity and aging healthily and beautifully. And so, I want people to use this forever because it's like your toothbrush. You brush your teeth so your teeth don't age. It's like your moisturizer. It's just part of your daily routine, and you keep your hair for much, much longer.
And I think that was really evident in those before and afters, because some of those people, their hair didn't look bad on first glance, but then when you see that next to the after, you're like, oh, wait a second. Like,
yes,
that's an improvement, even though before they probably were like, this is great, but now it's just so much more amped up, shinier, longer, thicker in the hairline. It's really, really, really amazing. Some people are asking where they can purchase as stylists.
Our stylist lists, our stylists, they can go on our website. We've got a professional part of our website where they can get a login, and they'll be able to purchase the products there.
Awesome. And I think that I see both of our teams dropping that link into the comments, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. And then just a couple more questions. People are asking, is this good to use on male and female clients? Is it too sweet smelling for my male clients?
Absolutely not. Our products are unisex products. We use it on men and women. It's absolutely not sweet smelling at all. We have a very subtle Japanese rose fragrance in it, and our male customers love it. So It's a unisex product, guys.
And the activator is odorless, you said as well. So
the activator has a very mild, herbal smell.
Okay.
But it goes away within 30 seconds. As it dries, the fragrance goes away, and you won't have any fragrance left.
Luna Hair Artist asked earlier, can I recommend évolis to an older client that doesn't have hair loss just to prevent? And the answer is absolutely, correct?
Absolutely. I have a chairman in my company, and he's 72. He started to use évolis about 4 years ago, and his hair has gone back to when he was 50, and he doesn't have hair loss. And even his wife can't believe that his hair is thickened up. So no matter how old you are, your hair will just improve and will get back to its more youthful stage, because you will have more hair growing at any one time.
Michelle just asked about her 18-year-old daughter who started to lose her hair and is getting really conscious about it. She says, I believe it may be stress related. Which of the ranges would you recommend?
So if she's already, whether she's got long or short hair depends a little bit. If she's got long hair, I would recommend the Promote. You can see that from the blue color on it, and Promote has really nice conditioning agents. So, but if she's really worried about losing volume and she's got shorter hair as well, I would recommend the Reverse, because the Reverse has got keratin and hydrolyzed wheat protein, and this will give an immediate volume to the hair. And it's really important, particularly when you're young and you start worrying about it, you need an immediate satisfaction that something is helping. Also, I would say you really need, if she's that young and losing a lot of hair, you probably need medical advice as well.
Okay. Someone asked on YouTube where they can find the products in Montreal.
Oh, we don't have distribution in Canada, but we do ship to Canada from our website, évolisproducts.com. So if they go to the évolisproducts.com website, we will ship them to Montreal. Fabulous.
Before we say goodbye, I just kind of want to sum up your must take away tips for hairdressers how they can bring up this conversation to their clients to make their client feel comfortable and empowered and normal and not freaked out or scared about, potentially losing their hair. Can you run through those again for us?
Firstly, you stylists, you really know your business and you know your hair, and your clients trust you. So please raise the topic if you do see that. The most comfortable way to talk about hair loss is, we all age. I noticed that your hair's been changing. Have you noticed anything? And if they don't respond, then maybe bring it up again next time. If they do respond, say, yeah, maybe my ponytail or maybe my hair is a bit different, then please help them understand that it's a natural process. There's no taboo attached, and that there is a solution. Because in the past, there wasn't anything that you could do unless some severe medication. But there is a solution that is gentle and nice, and they can try at a very, very low risk.
And it is okay for hair color. It's formulated to be safe for that. So I see a question about, does the évolis line include any styling products? It does, correct?
So we have a hair mask that is an amazing mask that really rejuvenates the hair, and you can leave it on overnight. And particularly if you've got curly hair or textured hair, that really brings back that youthful texture. So use the mask. The mask is an amazing product, but we don't have styling products. We leave that to the specialist experts about styling, but we do have a deactivator, which is that little thing that I showed you before. That is the most important part of it. We've got shampoo, conditioner, and the hair mask. We at the moment don't have styling products, but we do have a dry shampoo, which is a style and treat.
I was going to ask about that. I saw this dry shampoo on your website, and it looks awesome.
So our dry shampoo won, I don't know how many awards, and it's only been out for about less than a year.
Wow.
It Three things. It is fantastic for styling. So if stylists use any dry shampoo for styling your client's hair, try the Evolis Style and Treat dry shampoo, because you're not gonna go back. That's number one. Number two, it does have all the FGF5 inhibitors. So when you use this on your client's hair, it benefits their hair follicles. So that's also really great. And of course, it does all the normal dry shampoo things. It, soaks up excess oil and all those wonderful things. And it has a rice powder, so it doesn't have all that silicone-based powdery, horrible residue that you'd have with other dry shampoos, some of the other dry shampoos. So definitely use the dry shampoo. Try it. It's a Style and Treat product, so you can use it from immediately after washing the hair, blow drying, to 2 days old, preserving the style.
That's great. That's great. I think we got to all the questions. Everyone viewing on Facebook and YouTube, you can see in the comments how you can register to gain access to the wholesale pricing of Evolis. Maria, thank you so much for answering all of our questions today. Our viewers were super engaged and super grateful to hear from you. I appreciate you joining us.
Lauren, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.